Brock Purdy just inked a 5-year, $265 million contract extension, and the question everybody's asking is he worth it? Is he worth the price the 49ers are paying him? This new extension, which includes $181 million guaranteed and a rare full no-trade clause, makes him the 7th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And while I tend to lean away from Brock Purdy in top 10 quarterback talks, nevertheless the 7th ranked quarterback in the league, I also am leaning towards this contract being worth it. Now, let me explain why. Because while I believe, especially early on in Purdy's career, that he is a product of the system around him, this fantastic Kyle Shanahan West Coast offense, I also wouldn't go as far to say that he's strictly a game manager, like his successor, Jimmy Garoppolo, where Shanahan was actively trying to hide him. He was actively not putting him in pure drop back situations, trying to play almost strictly off play action. Outside of Matt Ryan, who he coached when he was the offensive coordinator with the Falcons, this is the most trust he has ever put in a quarterback, and that's evidenced by the fact that he was more than comfortable leaning into Purdy, putting him in pure drop back situations. The 49ers had a 55 to 60% drop back rate without play action last season, and in fact, it was the lowest play action percentage of Brock Purdy's 3-year career at 18.6%. And this trust and reliance on Purdy comes from a multitude of things. The fact that Purdy is fantastic under pressure. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league at beating the blitz. He isn't just somebody who stands in the pocket, is a pocket passer. He's mobile. He can throw on the run. He can get out and go get a first down if he needs to. Again, unlike his predecessor, Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think the big thing that sets him apart from the other Shanahan quarterbacks is his success throwing down the field. This is a quarterback who had the highest passer rating in the league last year on throws 20 plus yards down the field. Now let's actually dive into the film and talk about some of those positive points that I brought up, starting with his deep passing ability, which he was so fantastic at last year. Right now, the 49ers facing the Patriots. They're in shotgun. George Kittle here at the bottom of the screen, the tight end, going to come in motion, and out of this motion, he's running about a 10-yard out. We've got a post by the receiver at the bottom of the screen. We've got a dig by the receiver at the top of the screen, and the tight end in line is going towards the flat. As for the Patriots defense, they're going to be running something we call match quarters, which is quarters coverage with man principles. That's evidenced by the two high shell right here and what we see happen after the play. And they do a really good job of staying true to their coverage. These two outside receivers continue to press vertically, and they've gained enough depth to where it's going to become man coverage for these outside corners, which they end up doing. As for these two safeties, Jabril Peppers here, he's reading 2-1. And he sees 2 is heading out towards the flat, which already has a flat defender in 48. So he's just going to continue to get depth and get under this dig route. As for 21 here, he's also reading 2-1, and he's going to see that George Kittle is running this out. So that means he's going to come down and stick on him, meaning we've got man coverage with Jawan Jennings deep down the field. And Marcus Jones does a fantastic job staying with him here. He's going to play the ball well and everything. Brock Purdy just throws a perfect pass. Look where that pass ends up. He beats the defense there. He beats match quarters run perfectly. I'm going to show it from this angle because it's that pretty of a throw, but this is what I'm talking about when he trusts Brock Purdy to throw it deep down the field, because Jimmy Garoppolo, the prior Shanahan quarterbacks, aren't making throws like that. You cannot throw a better ball than he did right there. This next throw here is him, again, not only beating the blitz, but also throwing the ball deep down the field. Right here, the 49ers start out under center. They're in the I formation. Purdy sees something, checks out of it, gets in the shotgun. Fullback Kyle Juszczyk comes out into the bunch here. And now what are we looking at? Now, I believe what causes Purdy to check out of the play they had called was this safety here, Kevin Byard, creeping towards the line of scrimmage. You'll see he sees him walk up, checks out of it, and it's a good call because he continues creeping towards the line of scrimmage, and this turns into a safety blitz, and even more so, it's like a cover 3 fire zone. Now, Purdy, knowing this, knowing there's a safety coming off this edge, knows that there's more than likely going to be one-on-one on the backside with Isaac Guerendo, their rookie running back, who happens to be a Blazer. And even more so, it'd be one-on-one with this linebacker that seems to be going towards the flats, but it's like a match coverage. It's not true man here. It's a match zone, and he has to match up with this speed. Purdy knows this. However, there is a free rusher due to this blitz. There's only 5 guys in protection here. Purdy takes the hit. You'll see he falls straight on the ground, and while it's not a perfect pass, the pass lands in Guerendo's hands, and instead of a big old sack, it turns into a massive play for the 49ers. And this throw against the Bucks here is very similar to the one we just saw, but to an even higher degree of difficulty. It's once again Purdy being fantastic under pressure, sitting in the pocket, willing to take a hit for the team. The Bucks here, it's simple. It's not some fire zone blitz. This is just cover one. And the 49ers do a really poor job blocking it. This left tackle knows this tight end is staying in to block. Yet for some reason, he goes to pick up the guy the tight end's blocking, meaning we've got a free rusher right here. Now, as for the 49ers, the Christian McCaffrey is running a wheel. He knows he's got man coverage with Levante David, which Levante David ages like fine wine. However, don't want him in man coverage against Christian McCaffrey. However, it seems like this play's dead. It seems like Purdy's going to have to run or he's going to take a sack. But no, Purdy decides to sit here in the pocket. Look when he throws this ball. When we talk about throwing with anticipation, this is what we mean. McCaffrey hasn't even started his wheel up the sideline yet, and Purdy is ready and raring to throw this football in the air. Takes a massive hit. This ball gets put up, and just look at that. Cannot throw that pass any more perfectly. Unbelievable throw. And you see this all over the tape for Purdy, man. Like, he takes hits. He will take a hit for the team, stand strong in the pocket, and deliver a throw with anticipation. He knows where his players are going to be. And part of what makes Purdy so successful in this 49ers offense is his ability to anticipate, to throw with anticipation. And anticipation comes from preparation. That comes from understanding the playbook in and out. He understands where his players and receivers are going to be, and he understands what he's looking at when he's looking at defenses. And doing that specifically against Todd Bowles' defenses and his exotic fronts, that's tough to do. On this play here, the Buccaneers are mugging up the line of scrimmage. Purdy doesn't know if all 6 of these guys are coming, if 5 of them are, if only 3 of them are, and they're dropping back into coverage. But a big tell that's going to happen here is he's going to send the tight end George Kittle here in motion. This corner runs with him. So at the end of the day, Purdy knows it is man coverage. And even more so, if it's man coverage, whether mugging up the line of scrimmage, it's more than likely most of these guys are going to be blitzing. So Purdy knows he's going to have to get this ball out quick. And get this ball out quick, he does. Now, only 5 of the Buccaneers players along the line of scrimmage are going to end up coming. However, because they're not sure as to who it is, they're going to get a free rusher out of number 0 here. But Purdy stays calm, slides to his left, and understands where he wants to go with the football. And where he wants to go with the football is the 5-yard in to Deebo Samuel, which he throws perfectly out of his break, catches it, they get a first down. And I think the end zone view does a much better job of illustrating just how calm and in control Purdy is in this hectic, mugged up line of scrimmage situation. Watch. Knows the free rusher is coming from his right side. He's simply going to slide to his left. And watch Deebo Samuel here. Watch when this ball comes out. Boom. He is throwing this ball right now. Deebo Samuel is just planting his foot in the ground to make his break. By the time Samuel's head is around, that ball is right in his hands. It's beautiful. Anticipatory throwing is one of the most beautiful things that I like to watch in the National Football League, and Purdy happens to be one of the best in the business at doing so. This is one of my favorite Purdy throw. No, this is not one of them. This is my favorite Purdy throw ever. This isn't from this past season, but this is from the playoffs in 2023 against the Packers in a big late game situation on 3rd and 10. What's going on here is the Packers are going to end up running what's called cover 6 or quarter half, which is just quarters being played on the quad side of the field here and cover 2 being played at the bottom of the screen. And as for the 49ers, they've got more of like a Tampa 2 beater going on here. You've got Brandon Ayuk running a deep post, which would hopefully attract the 2 high safeties. You've got the slot receiver here running a 10-yard dig, and the outside receiver, Jawan Jennings, running a dig right behind that. The idea is the 10-yard dig, the shorter dig, would attract the middle of the field defender, so you could throw the dig right behind that. And that kind of is what happens here, except this middle of the field defender doesn't really bite down because the other 2 hook to curl players are playing so deep on 3rd and 10. They're playing at the sticks. But the 49ers are down 21-17. There's only about 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Purdy knows he needs to make a throw. He needs to make a throw down the field, and he needs to beat the coverage, even though pressure is going to be getting to him. They run a bit of a twist here. 91 is going to have a free shot at Purdy, and Purdy has to throw this ball early, and again, with anticipation, he takes a massive shot. He throws this ball right over the middle of the field defender for a massive gain. But this is once again one of those throws where the sideline angle just doesn't do it enough justice. You need to watch it from the end zone view. Again, keep an eye on it. Stand strong despite the pressure. He knows he's gonna get hit here. He knows he needs to make a play. Gets hit, and look where this ball is thrown. You cannot throw that ball any better. And again, I get on the stance of I don't think Purdy is an elite quarterback. I don't. And we're going to, as we get farther into this video soon enough here, we're going to get into why I don't think that. However, he is absolutely a floor raiser. This is not some quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo that you just want running the offense and not doing anything more than that. Brock Purdy makes this offense better. And I think that is worth the contract at the end of the day. And the last positive point I'm going to touch on is just the fact that Purdy is a damn good player when he's out on the move, when he's able to get outside the pocket, rather than Jimmy Garoppolo, who, if he was outside of the pocket or he had to evade pressure, you were holding your breath. It was going to be an interception or it was going to be a sack. And this play is a great example of just that. The Buccaneers are bringing 3 defensive linemen and blitzing a linebacker, and that pressure just isn't going to get there. But the coverage unit is doing a great job. They're running some sort of cover 3 here. Purdy sees it. Nobody is open. Purdy's going to kind of manipulate the pocket here, manipulate the edge rusher so he can sit in the pocket as long as he can. He's not just bailing like a lot of other mobile quarterbacks do. But when he sees nothing is coming open, he is going to start to take off. He is going to see if he can start moving around players in the secondary. George Kittle gets on the scramble drill, starts running towards the corner of the end zone, and Purdy throws, crosses body on the run. It's a perfect pass. It's beautiful. And this is part of why the offense took such an upturn once Purdy took over. Because it wasn't just the play is dead when everybody's covered or when pressure comes. Now, despite those clips that you just saw or what my analysis might have you believing, Purdy is by no means a perfect quarterback, and he's not an elite one for one main reason, and that is his arm strength. The velocity he's able to put on the football, it's just painfully average and at times below average, and it really limits him as a quarterback. It limits the throws that he's able to make, and this play is a great example of that. The 49ers are lined up under center. They're in the I formation. They're going to be running play action. They're going to be running cross dagger. Now, traditional dagger, you've got both receivers on the same side. You've got your clear out route, which is typically a seam, and then the dig coming right underneath it. This is the same thing, except the dig is on the opposite side of the field. As for the Bucs, they're just running a traditional cover 3, 1 high safety, and everything goes according to plan for the most part with the routes that are on the field. The clear out route takes not only the safety, but takes Zion McCollum, the corner, to come play underneath that as well, and the dig starts coming open in the middle of the field. Now, Lavonte David, the middle linebacker, does a really good job playing underneath this route, and this cover 3 corner on the opposite side of the field is doing a great job at potentially cutting it off. However, despite that, there is a window here. There is a window to fit this ball, whether it's high over Lavonte David or in a very small window between David and this corner coming to cut off the pass. And this is a throw that the elite quarterbacks, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes can make because they have those elite arms, because they can put so much velocity on the football and get the ball there as quick as they can. However, Purdy just doesn't have that. And to Purdy's credit, he's loading up to throw this pass, and he neglects to throw it. He holds on to the football because he knows he wouldn't get it there in time before this corner would cut it off or before Lavonte David would get under the pass and pick it off. To his credit, he makes a good decision. But what would have been a 20 to 25 yard play for the elite quarterbacks turns into a 5-yard sack for Brock Purdy because he doesn't have the arm to fit it into that window. That lack of arm strength and velocity can also be seen when he's throwing outside the numbers, specifically on outbreaking routes heading towards the sideline. There's a reason he operates in the middle of the field as often as he does. Because, this is as simple as it gets. It's quarters, the corners are playing off, and Jawan Jennings has a 10-yard out route that's very open. Purdy even throws it with anticipation, and unfortunately, you'd like to see the ball on a line to the outside shoulder heading towards the sideline. This ball is just kind of wobbling in the air. It's behind the receiver. It's high for Jawan Jennings, who's already like 6'2", and it's an incompletion. If you're a Dolphins fan like me, it reminds you a lot of Tua, who just, again, struggles to make these throws outside the numbers because they simply cannot generate enough velocity to put it where they want to. Here's another example. Purdy's under center, play action. He's going to get on a bootleg on the run to the left. Brandon Ayuk's running an out route to that left side, and he's open. He's open right now. And again, the elite quarterbacks with the really good arms are able to throw on the run with a lot of velocity, and this is an easy touchdown. Unfortunately for Purdy, he just can't generate that much velocity, and if he tries to, it's probably getting undercut by the safety Cam Bynum. So Purdy kind of has to throw it high, it's out of bounds, and what should have been a touchdown is an incompletion. The other thing that worries me about Purdy and this contract is just how poor his decision making was in the second halves of games last season. Just some really boneheaded, I don't even know what he was looking at type of interceptions. This is a great example here. They're down 13-7 against the Vikings in their own territory. It's only second down, plenty of time left in the game. What you really want to do here is just not turn the ball over. Brock Purdy's under center. He sends somebody out in motion, drops back to pass. All the Vikings are doing here is running quarters. That's all it is. And if Purdy were to just look to his check down to the left side, you've got some space. You can make it third and manageable, or if you make someone miss, you got a first down. But instead, Purdy is staring down his fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, somebody playing in the middle of the field, and it should have been picked off right here. But this ball bounces up in the air, and it eventually gets picked off, and now the Vikings are in plus territory, and they go on to score. Here's yet another boneheaded interception in an even worse moment. The 49ers are down 9-6 to the Rams right now with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're in field goal range. It's second down. There's no reason to take a risk down the field right now. But what ends up happening? The Rams end up running cover 3, and Purdy has Jawan Jennings on a double move. He's dropping back. There's not much pressure in his face, and you can see right here, this corner is not biting on the double move. He is very covered at this moment in time. You've got the Rams playing deep, plenty of options underneath. You've got 3 of them, but yet Purdy decides to go ahead, take a risk with this football that doesn't come anywhere near the receiver, and it's an interception. You were in field goal range. You had potential to tie the game up with a field goal, and yet you take just a boneheaded risk with the football. And again, this happened multiple times last year. This is probably his most egregious interception of the season, in my opinion. I get it. They're down 21-12. There's still 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 5. Purdy wants a big play, but you can't be making throws like this. The Chiefs are in man coverage. The 49ers just end up running kind of all hitches in the end zone, and I get it. Your right tackle gets beat like a drum. You're under pressure, but you've got a buzz defender playing right underneath this curl. And even if he wasn't under pressure when Purdy makes this throw, there's just no scenario, unless the defense does something horribly wrong, where this isn't an interception. And now the Chiefs get it back, and you've kind of put yourself out of the game, especially if they go ahead and score. You're in the fourth quarter. Again, the late game decision-making for Purdy, I think, took a dip last year, and I get it. There were a lot of injuries on this 49ers team. The team is worse around him, and that is kind of the worry here with Purdy. With this new contract, you're not going to have as much cap room. You're not going to have as many great players on this roster as there has been. Is he going to be able to perform despite there not being all of that talent that's around him? Is he going to continue to make boneheaded interceptions like this one that led to the 49ers being 6-11? Now, again, I'm not saying it was all his fault. It definitely wasn't. He did play well for the most part last year. But is he going to be able to perform when it matters most without a great roster behind him? We're really going to have to see, but at the end of the day, I do stand by this signing because we have to think in advance as well. Quarterbacks are only going to get more expensive. They always do. And by the time the second, third year of his contract comes around, he's probably looking to be more like the 12th to 13th highest paid quarterback in the league. And I think that's fine. I think that's about where Purdy should be. He's about in my 15 to 13 range when it comes to quarterbacks, at least in my rankings. And I think that's a fair way to pay him. It's not breaking the bank. It is only $181 million guaranteed. I think it could be a lot worse. He didn't even get as much as Tua did, and I think he's a better quarterback than Tua is. But when you give a quarterback that much money, you've got to be able to draft well, you've got to be able to sign well. And if there's a team that I trust to do that, I think the 49ers can do that. I thought they had a good draft this year, shoring up that defense. They've still got to work on that offensive line and some of those receivers, but for the most part, I think it's the right decision to extend Purdy the way that they did. I think he's worth it. If you're new here and you like the video, I'd really appreciate it if you press the like button and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. It helps keep videos coming out to you guys. I know I make a lot of my content on TikTok, but I am trying to transition over to YouTube more. Not saying I'm going to abandon the TikTok stuff completely. Absolutely not. I love doing it, but I love doing these more long form film reviews for you guys. And again, if you like it, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. Thank you all for watching.